Women aren't just afraid of being alone. They're afraid of being judged for being alone. Shit's about to get real. The other day, I was watching a podcast episode with Simon Sinek, and he was explaining that he's never been married and that his longest relationship is 3 years. So when he goes out on dates, women think, what is wrong with you? But then he shared that he has a friend who was in a 16-year relationship who fully admits the relationship should have just only been a year because, quite frankly, she was miserable the rest of the time. Yet society looks at her in a 16-year relationship and says, she's doing life correctly. Meanwhile, Simon, who is happy, fulfilled, surrounded by great friendships, and society looks at him and says, what the hell is wrong with you? So, what exactly are we measuring? Are we measuring happiness, fulfillment, or are we measuring what things appear to be from the outside? Duration. We've been taught that being chosen is more acceptable than being happy, that being in a long-term relationship is more important than being aligned and actually thriving inside of one. And that's why so many women choose relationships over themselves, even when the relationship doesn't feel good. Now, I am not against relationships. On the contrary, I actually believe that the right relationship will expand you in ways that nothing else can, as long as there is mutual respect, growth, and emotional connection. But if you're constantly complaining about your partner, if there's no intimacy, if you're disconnected from yourself, that is not a successful relationship. What kind of woman do you think you are inside of this relationship dynamic? If you are disconnected from yourself and unfulfilled and unhappy, what kind of partner do you think you're being to him? He is suffering too. And not every hard relationship is wrong. But not every long relationship is right either. I used to work in an office with 12 lawyers, and one of them actually told me that they are seen as more credible professionals if they have a ring on their finger. Meanwhile, Big Boss Man, who is married, was looking to cheat any chance he got. So let me get this straight. You are seen as a credible professional because you're married, even though you're living out of integrity like every damn day. Here's the real truth. Women are not just afraid of being alone. They're afraid of how they will be perceived if they are, especially once they are a certain age. Judgment. We cannot worry about what the other freaking people out there think about us. I know it's easier said than done. I know. I have worked with women who were afraid of being alone, got married, and are going through like horrible divorce. I know other women who got into relationships, they're just like, oh my gosh, am I going to be alone my whole life? I'm this age. This person, he will do, he seems good enough. Yeah, but he's him? Really? Are you sure? But he kind of like doesn't have the same values as you do. Yeah, but he's nice. We have got to be more at ease and comfortable at being alone. Now, as much as I am team romance, society overvalues romantic relationships and completely forgets about other relationships, the relationships we have with our family, our parents, our brothers, our sisters, our cousins, our friends. What would I be without my friends? Are you kidding me? Sisterhood. Our female friendships are the best. We can travel together. We can be silly together. We can tell each other our deepest, darkest secrets. We talk business together. People, there is so much more to life. So instead of being so obsessed and just jumping into something that's not aligned with us, just focus on living your best life. And I'm talking about your real life, not your Instagram life. Do the things you love to do. Hang out with the people you love to hang out with. Go on adventures. Go learn things. Go discover. Be curious. When you're living your best life, it is crazy what you call in automatically. And you might just call in that special someone, but not because you need him, because you want him, and he just amplifies your life. You sexy baby. We have to be stronger and we have to be really honest with ourselves. I was just having so many doubts for so many reasons. I'm not going to get into that right now, unless you have some wine. But one of the questions I ask myself is, if I were not afraid of the judgment of others, would I stay in this relationship? And I was looking out the window at the landscape going by like this. I was on the train and it was a clear no. You might want to listen to that answer. There was such a big part of me that was afraid of people's judgment. And it was the first time in my life. It's when you get to be a certain age, when you are a woman and you are a certain age and you are not with a partner, you kind of worry how people are going to see that. Judgment. And the only way out of that is not just stop caring what people think. That doesn't work. You stop caring what other people think when you are so connected to your own life, so connected to what lights you up and what turns you on, so fulfilled that other people's opinions truly feel irrelevant. And I know it's tough. I know, especially if you grew up in a small town where the majority of people are married with kids by the time they're 25. Judgment. But when you actually love your life, being alone stops feeling like a failure and it starts feeling like freedom. If this resonates, I guide women back to themselves and to what actually lights them up. There's a link in my description if you would like to go deeper. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.